situation between China and the United States, two super global world powers, nuclear capable powers, bunting heads in front of the world stage, is not really comforting. And in this video, we're going to explain to you what's happening, why it happened, and what led up to this happening, and how people are blaming Donald Trump when in reality, I think that's a very unfair assessment. As we are speaking right now, the Chinese have just seized a U.S. Navy American underwater drone in the South Asian Sea. A Chinese warship stole the U.S. Navy drone right in front of U.S. warships in the South Asian Sea. This is extremely brazen, extremely ballsy, and just shows you how far the Chinese are willing to go and how they're not threatened by the United States. Obviously, this is a very scary situation because the Chinese military has built up its military might by stealing U.S. technology. They have stole plans from F-35 fighter jet planes and are bolstering up their military on a very grand proportions. That, of course, should alarm the world because we see these two bullies kind of stand up, confront each other, and they're both bullies. One of them is going to throw a punch sooner or later to get rid of the other one because obviously it's looking like these two can't cooperate all around the world. And the United States, trying to be the kind of daddy of the world, that looks less and less likely, especially with more Chinese brazen moves like this. And again, many people are blaming Donald Trump. Donald Trump did this because he took a phone call from the president of Taiwan. Well, the United States and Chinese, well, the only reason they have a diplomatic relationship with each other is because of the One China policy, which is the bedrock of U.S. foreign policy with China, because China makes sure that the United States can't recognize Taiwan as a country. China wants to destroy Taiwan off the face of the world, off the map, and the only way they will continue diplomatic relations if the United States doesn't recognize Taiwan. President Trump took a phone call and everyone's like, oh crap, he did it, but they forgot to mention that the United States under Barack Obama sold $1.83 billion worth of weapons to Taiwan that obviously the Taiwanese would use to protect themselves against the Chinese and their aggression. Now, many people are saying aggression because the Chinese are building up man-made military islands in the South Asian Sea along a major trading route. Now, if you look at any major world war that has been fought throughout history, a lot of the lines are drawn, a lot of the combat happens along major trading posts. You control the trading post, you have a greater geopolitical advantage in the area, and that's why we're seeing China build up these man-made islands, which the United States and the UN ruled illegal and told them to cease immediately. The Chinese just responded by saying, that's pretty much the Chinese response, and now they're bolstering up their military bases in that region in order to exact more control. If there's a potential conflict, these man-made Chinese military islands will be extremely important for the Chinese with their military posturing and their military moves. And we have seen a lot of that. The United States flew aircraft carriers, flew planes, sent boats, sent submarines along these man-made Chinese islands on international waters. And of course, they were met with more Chinese military might that matched them, and of course sent their own aircraft carriers. The Chinese have just sent out their own nuclear bomber outside of China in a way to send a message to the United States. Now, with this happening, China, ever since August, was telling its citizens to prepare for war on water over the South Asian Sea tensions. Beijing was telling its citizens that since August of this year. This is not just Donald Trump's doing. The tensions between China and the United States have been rising for a very long time. How it will be solved, I have no freaking idea. But right now, the Chinese are even boosting their defenses on these artificial man-made islands that they're building in China. Now, the United States supposedly came to stop these man-made islands in order to help the Philippines, which they usually had a close relationship with, but the president of the Philippines recently called Barack Obama a son of a whore. Twice, not once. He said goodbye to America. Barack Obama was a son of a whore, and that the United States has lost, and now the Philippines are looking for closer relationships with the Chinese. This is all Barack Obama's doing. You can't only just point the finger directly at Trump. Trump will be adversarial to China, and what will happen? Holy cow, I could only speculate the worst. Doesn't look too hopeful for the future of these two super world global powers with nuclear capabilities that don't like each other and want to have more influence over the world. What will happen? Again, I don't know. I wish I did, but it just doesn't look good. But we're going to cover it here on this YouTube channel as the situation develops. Stay tuned, subscribe. You can't even subscribe anymore because of the YouTube algorithm. Click the bell button when you subscribe. Then you can maybe even see our stuff for real, unfiltered, unbiased, independent news coming here your way on youtube.com/We Are Change. The mainstream media is talking about Barack Obama's last press conference. No, this situation matters. Share this story so everyone knows the global geopolitical situation happening all around the world. Because again, mainstream media doesn't talk about this. That's why we're here as independent, real news. Thank you again so much for watching. Subscribe.